Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, Yvonne Kraeher, Leigh Stima, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Leigh, Yvonne, and myself, with the Realm of Beings, eagerly invite you to join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Leigh, and I'm joined. We have a full team today. Retta's here. Yvonne's back. The Realm is always with us. And as usual, we're very happy to be on Transformation Talk Radio every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. You might, when you hear that term, Realm of Beings, you may ask yourself, who are they? How do they operate in our lives? Does everyone receive guidance? Well, lucky for you, we went over all of the answers to those questions in our very beginning podcasts. So if you're new to Shifting Impressions, please check our early podcasts to get those answers. But briefly, yes, we are all connected. So these conversations will help you examine your life and your creation of reality. They will help you to shift your impressions and understand what you're creating in your life and how it shows up. Weekly, we go over one quotation that's been downloaded through Gretta from the Realm of Beings. We go back and forth trying to make some important links and understandings. So let's start. This week, the quotation we will be talking about is, "You are reborn each day and each moment as you journey through your life experiences." Now, I remember we picked that because it's a new year, right? So talk about being reborn, but we don't have to wait until just December 31st. We can start that at any time. So where do we start off today?
Wow. I think it's so wonderful. I am just really looking forward, and I'm just looking at the new year, and I'm being very positive about it. For opulent prosperity, in health, wealth, oneness, joy, etc., etc., etc. All those wonderful, wonderful, high-lifting emotions and opportunities for our growth. I want to choose more high opportunities for my growth, because you grow from either high or you can grow from low. You grow from everything. I just want to choose more high growth.
High growing.
Yeah. After I did COVID, I said, I'm through. I said, I got to look at something. So there's something else out there than this, So that's where I am. So what does it say at the beginning? We have to do what? Read that quote again, Leigh.
You are reborn each day, each moment,
it.
as you journey through your life experiences.
Yep. I feel reborn. And I'm not using reborn in terms of people who believe in reincarnation who believe in past lives. I'm not dealing with that from a reborn state. I'm talking about my inner being, being reborn, my inner being, because that's where everything is. Everything is within me, So I want to reach into myself more each day and see my divinity, believe in my divinity, believe that I am joy. I am experiencing joy at every moment in my life. I want to set the pace for this year. I'm not going in to this year with being fully healthy in terms of the physical realities that that I've created, but I have a better attitude about dealing with them. My diabetes, and it looks like I've claimed it when I said mine, but the diabetic experience, I see it as temporary, and that is one of my things that I want to be reborn through, and I can go on with a lot of other stuff that I want to be reborn through. I want to learn these lessons because I don't want to carry them on. When you don't learn them here, you take them with you. So you're going to be faced with them again. That's the interesting part about it. You will see them again. Yeah, but you won't remember that you're seeing them again. But you will see them again. That's a given. Yeah. All right, I'm going to turn it over to the two of you all.
Yvonne?
I feel like we're on the same page, Greta. This time of the year, I think for a lot of people it's a time of reflection and naturally going inward. Here on the East Coast of the US, we're experiencing winter, although sometimes you would never know it because it's 60 degrees outside from one day to the next. But on the calendar, it is the winter season. And so that naturally gives you a chance to go inward. For myself, I would say that 2022 was a year of clearing, sort of to get ready for this moment of, more conscious, more awakened, intentional movement inward. Just personally, if you've been listening to the podcast regularly, the end of 2021, and prior to that, I lost my mother transitioned and my sister transitioned. So I experienced a lot of grief related to that. And so this whole past year gave me a chance to reevaluate my life, my age, what I was doing in my other life, which off the podcast, I have a few businesses. And so just looking at all that this last year, just decided to, kind of clear out, sell some of the whatever we were doing in our businesses to kind of simplify our life and then our lives and focus more on ourselves, our creativity, and realizing how much is enough? How much do you really need to make it through this life? And so, yeah, it's a good feeling to get. It was now after looking at all the clearing that I did, I feel satisfied and grateful, very grateful. It wasn't easy, I have to say, all that clearing and tumultuous times that I experienced, but it now gives me, once that stuff is cleared out, there's you have that space inside for creation and for rebirth, which is what we're talking about. And we can do that consciously, intentionally, rebirth ourselves and make our own choices about how we want our lives to look like on the outside. And it really is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves on the inside. So yeah, I just every day focus on gratitude, even if the lessons have been very challenging. They're there to teach, and I feel aligned with you, Greta, in what you said, that you're not interested in taking some of that stuff with you. Like, leave the baggage behind. You can go to a different place freer and less encumbered by a lot of that, those lessons that you no longer need. You've learned them. Leave space to rebirth in a more conscious, joyful way, loving way. So yeah, that's where I am on this beginning of 2023, which they say is a spiritual year in numerology. If you add up the numbers, 2 and 2 is 4 and 3 is 7. So the number 7 itself indicates it's a spiritual year. So for those of you out there that might follow numerology and put some kind of importance on that, might be a good time to have space for those spiritual lessons to be reborn in you, in us, in all of us. So
thanks, Yvonne, and ditto. I really do. I was like, oh, what am I going to say now? But I do feel quite, some resonance with what you're both saying. I too feel like a new leaf is turning over, so to speak, whether it's been all of this sort of pressure cooking that we've all been through, our kind of global experience in the last couple of years, and that's maybe lifting a little bit, and maybe we saw some things in there that no longer, that dispel some of that veil that we may have previously been looking through. And now, yes, I agree. I want to make more aligned choices. I want, more, higher vibrational experiences. I want to really fully grasp and understand that I'm creating this. So give it your all and do the best you can. Maybe take a step and look to see, oh, what's here? But you know what? Okay, I accept it. Thank you so much. Let's do something new. So, Greta, when you said that your inner being should be reborn, can I ask for some clarity on that? Because is it the inner being reborn, or is it our attachment, or not attachment as in detachment, but maybe let me say the word better, like our recognition of our divinity should be reborn, because maybe we have a tendency to sometimes forget it when we're swept up in everything that we perceive in front of us. Is it that way, or what way?
I'm taking it to be, well, first of all, the challenge one of the challenges that we accepted coming into this reality is to forget being the force.
Mm-hmm.
So we forget it.
Right.
So we see everything by way of colored glasses with blinders.
Mm-hmm.
So in that forgetness, we're going through a process here of relearning. And I want to correct that word, because sometimes I use that word learning and relearning. And I'm training myself now to say remembering. It's a remembering. It's not a learning. Everything that we teach on this podcast, everything that anybody who channels, teaches, any guru, all of those people that provide stimulation of our remembering, that's what it is. We're not learning something from the beginning. I looked at the movie Law of Attraction. I think that's what it was called. Was it called that?
The
Secret?
The Secret Doctrine. That's right. The Secret Doctrine, and it was, everybody got so enthused about the Secret Doctrine. And I'm going, what is this Secret Doctrine? So I sat down for a few minutes and listened to it. And I said, oh my goodness, these people are talking about the law of attraction, and then thinking that there was a belief that, okay, now we're into new, quote unquote, new thought. So we're into the new way of thinking about things, the new way of thinking about realities, how we can change our lives. That stuff has been going on since God knows when. Because we've been humanoids. If you think about humanoids in the fifth root race, because that's what we are now. I don't know if the audience knows about root races, but we've taken, meaning humanoids have taken and divided our history into root races. So the fifth root race is the root race we're in now. The group of humanoids, they might not have looked like us, but they were still human, classified as humanoids. That would have been the fourth root race. I think that's the Atlanteans. And going all the way back to the first root race. And as we go back, our physicality changes, belief systems change, all of that's going on with us. So here we are attempting to remember that I am joy. Remember that I am peace. It's important for us to remember it, because all these things, tell you the honest God truth, thinking about joy and peace and all that stuff are nothing but illusions as well. There is illusions as hate and evil. So, everything has an isness to it until we put the judgment to it. And we go back in our brains and say, okay, this is the way it is. This is evil. Those people that believe in the devil, which there are quite a few people in all religions that believe in that, So if they believe in that, then they're going to experience that. But the reborn is remembering. It's internal, because everything's internal. I was talking to a woman this morning, and her whole focus was outside of herself. I said, bring it back. She talked about her son. She talked about her children. She talked about her husband. She talked about, well, I didn't like what this person said to me, what that person said. I said, that has nothing to do with them. Look in you. Everything is in you. If you go down into the valley and sip tea with Alice, going down the rabbit hole, that's your inner being going down into that rabbit hole. If you're up and you're feeling joy and peace, and you're feeling, oh wow, I'm really, I'm glowing now, that's also in your inner, and it's also a part of your remembering. So it's a lot. I don't know if I've answered your question. I might have deviated from it, but it's your inner being. That's it. How are you going? How are in this reality that we are in? How are you going to be? how do you see yourself as? You know, some of us see ourselves as horrible human beings and see others as horrible human beings. You know, so we don't even need to see that.
Right. Or is it kind of that where you make the shift to remembering that everything is surrounded by well-being, right? Everything is perfect and in like divine time. And if it's all well-being and we can tap into that, then we are remembering our essence, right? Because that sort of leaves the judgments aside, because everything is just doing well and on track.
Yes, because, and there is no time. So we don't even have to worry about that. You know, we constructed time here in this humanoid experience because we want to get from one place to the other. Like the podcast starts here, I think 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. God only knows what time it starts with you, Leigh. I think it's in the evening, 7 o'clock at night or something like that. So, but we've constructed things to test our memory. That's what it is. To test our, how do we remember what it was? You know, so, you know, to me, it's a wonder. It's like when I asked on the podcast the other day, what do you need to do first if you're going to play the game of Monopoly? I think it was on the podcast I said that. And, you know, most people that I ask, they name all kinds, they go all around the world with it. Well, I need the game board, or I need this, or I need that. And they forget that they need to know the rules. Here in this reality, in this experience, are rules to help you maneuver through this experience. And different people choose different ways, and that's okay. Whatever way you choose, that is your creation of reality. Some people choose a religious base to maneuver through it, and that's okay. Whatever you choose, you know, whatever you choose, it's okay.
So, Greta, I have a question. What comes before the rules?
What comes before the rules? Now you're taking me into something deeper than that. What comes in before the rules is the force.
That's what I think. It's like a choice to even play the game.
Right? There's so many things, there's so many parts to it that help you to maneuver through this experience. Like one of them is understanding, create, support, create. You see, that's helping you move. What did that quote say? You're bringing yourself.
Your life experiences.
Say it again for me.
You are reborn each day, each moment as you journey through your life experiences.
There you go. Each moment you're changing. Each moment is experimentation. Each moment is, let me try this. Let me try that. The unconscious is working with you. Your consciousness, remember the unconscious, which is also the force, does not forget one thing. It remembers everything. It remembers when you hiccuped. That's how deep it is. So it's remembering everything. And sometimes we think we've gotten rid of something. We've gone past it. We've either prayed it out, we've affirmed it out, we've QDR'd it out, but we know I'm through with that. And then all of a sudden you find yourself back into it again. And you go, now where did it come from? I thought it was gone. But because you weren't quite through with it yet. So the unconscious realized that and say, okay, we got to bring it to you again. You want it again. So it's you are the unconscious as well. So you're bringing these things back to remember and to test yourself. Make sure, yeah, I did learn this. I'm sure I learned it. That's why we got to be with ease.
Right, because it's almost like it's a, you can do all those things that you mentioned. You can dance it out.
For real.
But maybe it comes up again to see, do we make a different choice? Do we get sucked back into the old way? Or what? Do we even notice it? Sometimes things that occur, maybe you catch something and you go on and on about that thing for a couple of days, just can't let it go. It just means you're making more of it, and then
Leigh, have you been watching me or what?
and then okay, you catch yourself like, oh, this is the third day I've been spiraling around in that thought. Okay, enough. QZR, whatever that is, I am loving myself unconditionally, whatever it may be. And then, maybe that works. And then the next time it comes around, oh, you just catch that thing and you notice after a day that you're swirling around in that same mumbo jumbo, right? And I mean, it's like, be grateful for the opportunity to grow.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
like another reframe. I said something, maybe to you, Gretta, the other day. I said, oh boy, I've just got opportunities for growth popping up everywhere.
Wow. Yeah, because that's what they are. They're only
Okay.
opportunities, and we just have to be easy on ourselves with the realities that we create. I look back on it now with just the health challenge I had last year, and I said, my goodness, I know you guys know I don't hardly go anywhere. I'm either talking on the phone to people or I'm writing or something like that. And I said, and people ask me, how did you get COVID? I said, you know what? I went down there in my thoughts and I just opened up the door and COVID said, you want us to come in, don't you? Come on. Yeah, come on in. And then COVID turned around and said, pneumonia. She's ready.
She's having a party.
Yeah, come on. And then what was it? Sinus infection said, wait for me. I want to come too. I want to be a part of it, And my husband tells me, he says, it was about some weeks afterwards. He says, you go in threes. And what? And then he starts to enumerate. He says, remember when you had the flu, pink eye, and strep throat? That's your three. Now you did another three. I said, oh, let's stop that loop.
Yeah, right.
Let me stop that loop. I whatever, however I created that. No. I'm in perfect health.
Right. Is it also helpful to, if you catch one of those moments, let's just say, can you just, if you catch it, is step one enough to say, okay, trifecta of illnesses, I'm sure you came to teach me something and I appreciate you were there. I no longer need you.
I was saying that, Leigh. I was saying that like 40 going north. And I was QDRing it. I release all emotions and thoughts that support me in creating and maintaining COVID, pneumonia. And, I just really, I said, I release all of that because I didn't know there was so much involved in it. I know we did a podcast on it, but I hadn't even finished to tell you all the reasons why I know I had that experience. There's a lot more stuff to it.
Right. But I mean, you can make a sort of blanket statement, and is the unconscious clever enough to make a bundle
Yes.
for you?
Yes. Because people, you know why I can say that, and I know it's time for us to move on, but I can say that because what people are telling me when they use that QDR, quick displace, replace, that they said it happens instantaneously. Many of them they said, I can feel the energy change in me, just like that. So what's doing that? Of course, you are the unconscious, but the unconscious part of you is saying, okay, you don't need this anymore. Boop, let's shut it down.
It's like an acknowledgement, right? It's kind of like, because something's coming to me like, these things just, they want to be seen too, right? I mean, how much of maybe our internal struggles, the root cause is being seen, right? Or being heard. So I know, I can only speak for me, that, there was a story I was telling about not being heard and not being seen. So these things that maybe some people call them the shadow, or there's probably many different names for them. They're there, and they just, is it that recognition that they exist, and it's just like, like, finally, I don't have to show up anymore, because you finally saw me. I don't have to create all of this, perhaps unwanted. And because we just say like, okay, thank you for showing up. I appreciate what you were trying to tell me. I don't need to learn it anymore. And like, could that just be like what takes away its momentum, or, takes away that frequency, maybe like lessens the charge of it, or like what were we talking about some while back on the podcast? It's not momentum, but like not the force.
The
intensity, right? It being seen, just makes it kind of relinquish, because if you think of in your external life, if you're, have this thing about someone seeing you, and then they finally do, and again, I know that's like you seeing yourself, and that's why they're having that reaction to you. But it feels good anyway, even when you are creating it, that acknowledgement, even if you don't recognize it in the minute, it feels good.
Yeah. I'm looking at it. I'm loving what you're saying, Leigh, because I look at everything as energy, and everything is living, because the energy is living. So when you say these things, they wanted to be recognized, I could see anger saying, hey, I'm over here,
Right.
Let me visit with you a while.
Right. Like anger, I feel you. All of my cells feel you, okay? You're here. Thanks for showing up at this moment, but you could just cool it down a bit. I mean, there was that whole Inside Out movie. If you guys haven't seen that, it's fantastic.
Is that the Disney?
I think it's Pixar.
Pixar,
maybe.
Okay.
It's so good if you haven't seen it. It's all about these emotions that are alive and well within us. And what happens.
Oh yeah, excellent.
So,
okay, somebody's got to take us out of here.
Yvonne, do you have anything to add before we break? I mean,
I feel in alignment with everything that you're saying, and the same with Greta, only that, we just have to keep remembering. That's it. Remembering that we are always in a process of rebirth each and every moment, and just notice the reminders. I get a reminder every morning. My niece just had a baby, and now she sends me pictures every single day, or a video, and I can see this little guy changing physically. So things like that show up and make me remember, like, he's changing physically and also in every other way. But it's so obvious with an infant but we are also in that same process. We just have to remember. So, ladies, just so that we have enough time to hear what the realm has to say today, we are gonna pop off to a short break and come right back. And thanks for staying with us on Transformation Talk Radio. I'm Yvonne. We're here with Gretta, Leigh, and the Realm of Beings every Friday. And stay tuned.
Hello, and welcome back to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm here with Yvonne and Greta, but we've come to the point in the podcast where the Realm of Beings gets to weigh in. I don't know what that was about, my little frog voice, sorry. So, Realm, are you present?
Yes.
Today, we have been chatting about your quotation, "You are reborn each day, each moment as you journey through your life experiences." What do you have to share with us today?
Born each moment. Let's focus on moment. What is moment? We're not talking seconds. We're not talking minutes. We're not talking, do you have milliseconds or milliseconds? Or we're not talking about that. We're talking about something faster than that. So we'd like to put the audience in with the idea that this is done very, 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 very quickly. It's not something that you are waiting 30 minutes to evolve within you. You are in a state of change at all moments of experience, of reality. Your thinking, your thoughts. Every time you have a thought, that thought projects into that reality and is born up to its point of being maybe a probability. You're trying to decide, do you want to go to the circus or do you want to go to grandma's house? So you thought circus, you thought grandma's house, you thought connotations of circus. What is a circus? How do I feel when I go to the circus? Do I like going to the circus? You're doing all of that within that short period. And then the decision to go to grandma's house, you're doing that also as well. Which one am I going to go? Which decision am I going to make? Which pathway am I going to follow? So you create all these probabilities that you're choosing from. Yes. Yvonne asked Greta what comes first. I think that's what she said.
What are the rules? What comes before the rules?
What comes before the rules? I want you to know when it's being talked about rules, there are rules for almost everything in existence. But it depends on what species you are. An ant has certain rules that it can abide by in order to exist in this reality. And different ants have different existences. A black ant is different from those red ants that sting you, which is different from those ants that are in Africa, and they come in loads and loads, like can be crossroads and everything. Army ants, that's what they call them. So each one of those species has a set of rules for themselves that were created for them. This is your design. This is the design you're going to follow. There are designs. If you are a hawthorn, which is another species within this universe, in this particular universal reality, that hawthorn is given a different set of rules. Imagine the species that has no corporal body and no only is pure thought. Then the thing is, can they create pain? Like you create pain as a humanoid? Maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. It's going to be different because the rules of existence for that species is different. So the rules are done by species. But one rule that goes throughout all of existence is create, support, create. And that realities are being created at every moment with every species in existence. While we're talking to you on the podcast, the trees are creating their realities. The concrete roads are creating their reality. Everything is living. Everything is energy. Nothing dies. But sometimes we like to create things in this reality of being humanoid that trick us. It's like going into the fun house that Gretta talks about. That fun house, you know, when she was a little girl, she used to go in there, and some of you have been in there, and you see all these funny mirrors, and you can look at yourself. You can be thin, you can be fat, you can change all the realities. You can experience all kinds of realities in those mirrors. So it's a changing, you know, it's a changing. So, and it's a moments changing, and it's an ever, ever, ever going changing. Think about the cells in your humanoid bodies, because they're energy essences just like you are. It's just they decided that they were going to play the role of being part of your composite of what's called the human body. We're going to assist this energy essence. The energy essence is going to be think of itself as being the body. It's going to think of itself. I'm going to say it again. It's going to think of itself as being the body. Okay? Now you look at a cell in the stomach. It's an energy essence, just like you, who think you own the body that you're in. But there are many energy essences that have agreed to form your composite as you are. You see. So different composites are going in different ways, depending on the species. Some species may have 3 arms. There's some species that are 8 and 9 feet tall, and they look like insects. You see, their rules may be different of how they go through existence, but one or two rules. One rule is that everything in existence is divine. Everything in existence is the force. Everything. So, and another one for everybody is create, support, support, create. However you can define create. You see, we did not define what create means, because with different species, it means different things. How a dog creates its reality is possibly different from the way a cat will create its reality. But that dog and that cat are living beings. When we take the body, the corporal bodies away from the dog and the corporal bodies away from the cat, you're only going to see one thing, and that's energy. So that's to give you a little taste of oneness there. But moment, so much takes place in the moments. Look inside your own physical body, the heartbeats, the eggs are dropping from the ovaries, the teeth are there, the nerves are working, your brain is being supplied energy, everything's going on. You've got all your subtle bodies. Most people don't even know about your subtle bodies, which you have approximately about 20 of them. You'll see. You just see your physical body and you say, okay, this is it. Look beyond your physical body, see all the cells that are in there working, because that was what they decided to do. That's what they decided. And some of them and they decided to support you. So if you're an angry person, guess what? They're going to support you in being angry, because that is their creation of reality. I have created to be, meaning them, I have created to be a brain cell in the frontal lobe. And this is what I'm going to do. Or another one will say, I will be a cancer cell of the liver. And when anyone needs me, I will be there for them to give my support. Because that's all it is. It's only create, support, support, create. That's a rule. We call it a rule because you all believe in rules. So that'll help you understand it better. Rule. You like these rules. Yeah, someplace else they don't think of it as rules. Someplace else they think of it as just the isness of something and nothing more and nothing less. But you're at the stage of, if you don't smell it, taste it, feel it, touch it, see it, it ain't there. It's not real, you see. But there are other species, they don't have to smell it, taste it, feel it, see it, to know that it's real. So the rebirth of your beingness is ongoing. Ongoing rebirth. I don't care what pathway you took. If it's a pathway that maybe it's a pathway to be incarcerated. Maybe it's a pathway of being a doctor in the rainforests of South America. Either way, it's all good. All pathways are good. All pathways lead to our divinity, regardless of what pathway you chose. Maybe you were a Dahmer who chose to have mental health challenges, pathway, but leads to good. You see, there's no, or leads to another form of isness. Another form of isness, another reality. Yes. It's just presentation. Presentation of yourselves through your personalities that you, each one of you, has created your own personality. Some people turn around and create the personality they've created it and turn around and don't like what they created. You know, so then change it. You don't like being a grumpy person all the time, then change to be smiling and happy if you want to. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. But regardless, and guess what? It doesn't matter if you believe what we're saying to you or not, but it is happening. All over existence.
Do you have a question?
Me?
Okay. Realm, I was just, we're going to wrap up shortly. I was just wondering, I'm still have some clarity issues from earlier. Greta said that the inner being is reborn, but is that because the inner is the force? So isn't it our connection to that force that's reborn?
It's not a connection to the force. You are the force.
Realization, the remembering, right?
The remembering that you are the force, and that it decided that it wanted to, the term that we use is experiential evolution. Evoluting through experiences. That's what's happening. And each being, notice I said being, each being is experiencing itself through its experiential evolution because it is the force. The tiny little ant that you see crawling around in the grass is the force. The cells that are holding together the concrete sidewalk running in front of your house that you're walking on every day is the force and has created its experiences.
Thank you, Realm. We are once again at the end of another Shifting Impressions podcast. I'd like to thank you, listeners, for being here today, and Realm for always sharing your wisdom with us, Yvonne and Greta, and our producer, Jacob, the man behind the curtains. Thank you for joining us today on another episode of Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, until we create each other again.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with Leigh, Yvonne, the Realm, and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.